Today, an actively exploited Linux root access bug lands on the KEV list. Microsoft Defender misflags DigiCert certificates. Telegram mini-apps are being abused for crypto scams and Android malware. And a fresh round of vendor patches needs attention. Here's what matters and what defenders should do now. Welcome to your cybersecurity roundup. We keep this brief, operational, and focused on actions that reduce risk. First, CISA adds an actively exploited Linux root access bug, CVE-2026-31431, to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. Key facts: the vulnerability is tracked as CVE-2026-31431, with a CVSS score of 7.8. It enables local privilege escalation to root and is confirmed as actively exploited, which elevates remediation urgency. Why it matters: active exploitation compresses response windows and increases the likelihood of real-world impact, especially on multi-user systems, jump hosts, CI/CD runners, and any Linux workload exposed to untrusted users or code. The Defender takeaway: identify whether your Linux distributions have released patches or mitigations and prioritize rollout. Restrict or audit local user access where feasible. Monitor for anomalous privilege elevation attempts, and validate that your vulnerability management tooling flags CVE 2026-31431 so you can track closure against the KEV requirement. Next, Microsoft Defender is wrongly flagging legitimate DigiCert root certificates as Trojan Win32 Certigent ADHA. False positives can undermine trust infrastructure. Defender detections are triggering widespread alerts against legitimate DigiCert root certificates, and in some cases, removing certificates from Windows systems. This can present as malware alerts tied to certificate files. Why it matters: false positives against root certificates can break TLS trust chains, disrupt application launches, and cause outages for services that rely on code signing and secure connections. Rapid automated remediation could amplify damage. The Defender takeaway: pause broad automated remediation for this specific Defender signature, and hold change windows that would remove affected certificates. Monitor for signature updates from the vendor and deploy them promptly once available. If certificates were removed, restore the Windows certificate store from trusted backups, validate chain integrity for critical apps, and communicate guidance to help desks to prevent unnecessary incident escalation. Consider temporary allow listing based on file hashes or paths, with careful documentation and rollback plans. Third, Telegram mini-apps are being abused for crypto scams and Android malware delivery. The headline context is misuse of a legitimate platform feature to scale fraud. Key facts: researchers report a large-scale operation leveraging Telegram's mini-app functionality to impersonate well-known brands, run cryptocurrency scams, and distribute Android malware. The activity relies on users interacting within Telegram's interface, which lowers friction and trust barriers. Why it matters: threat actors continue to weaponize in-app web views and mini-app ecosystems to bypass traditional App Store scrutiny and security controls. This affects both consumers and corporate environments where messaging platforms are permitted, expanding the social engineering surface and mobile malware exposure. The Defender takeaway: review your acceptable use and mobile security policies around messaging apps on managed devices. Where appropriate, limit or monitor Telegram use. Enforce mobile device management to block sideloading and unknown sources, and ensure Android antivirus and OS updates are current. Train users to avoid connecting wallets, entering credentials, or installing packages prompted by messaging app mini-apps. On the network side, increase inspection of traffic initiated from in-app browsers or web views, and watch for brand impersonation indicators in user reports. Finally, a daily trend to act on now. Multiple vendors have released security patches or advisories for newly disclosed vulnerabilities. The headline context is straightforward: there's a broad patching cycle underway across products. Key facts: the updates address newly disclosed issues, with details varying by vendor and product lines. Timeliness matters because disclosures often coincide with rapid scanning and opportunistic exploitation. Why it matters: coordinated patch releases create a narrow window to reduce attack surface before exploits circulate more widely. Unpatched internet-facing services and high-value internal systems are common targets soon after advisories drop. The Defender takeaway: run an accelerated review of vendor advisories today. Map them to your asset inventory and prioritize internet-facing and mission-critical systems for testing and deployment. Track remediation progress against internal SLAs. validate with targeted scans, and monitor telemetry for failed patch installs or unusual traffic that may indicate probing after disclosure. That's the briefing. If this helped you prioritize defenses, subscribe and share it with your team. Stay safe, stay current, and I'll see you in the next operational roundup.